Chapter 14. This chapter, like all the chapters in the Gita, speaks of but one supreme devotion, to which all other forms of human devotion must eventually give way as the pilgrim strives for perfection. The great Brahma here refers to Prakriti, matter or nature, for matter or nature is the cause of all action throughout the universe, as it is the basis by which action may take place. There can be no action unless there is something to be acted upon. Hence, spirit and substance are held to be without beginning, that is, co-eternal and co-existent. As there are great periods of non-manifestation as well as of manifestation, so for spirit or consciousness and substance or matter there must be periods of latency and periods of activity, which are synchronous with each other. Prakriti or substance is the womb in which the self or spirit places the seed of thought or idea. From this, action and evolution begin. The following classification and discussion of the three qualities, gunas, illustrates the vital difference between the ancient true psychology of the East and what is termed Western psychology. Both abound in classifications. Those of the East are much more numerous than those of the West and cover a far wider field. Western psychology and its classifications refers solely to mental states. The psychology of the Gita and the ancient sages classifies the moral states, treating the mental states as mere effects produced by moral conditions. Herein lies the secret of the hold the Gita has had all down the ages, and continues to have increasingly. It lays bare unsuspected bases of error. It discloses the most subtle forms of self-delusion. It marks out the true course so painstakingly that the dullest mind cannot fail to grasp a clear perception of the path to true knowledge. The three great qualities called sattva, rajas, and tamas, light or truth, passion or desire, and indifference or darkness, are born from nature and bind the imperishable soul to the body. The binding is by the attachment of the self, or soul, to the qualities perceived in nature. The sattva quality binds to rebirth through attachment to knowledge and that which is pleasant. The fruit of righteous acts appertains to sattva. Rajas is of the nature of desire, producing thirst and propensity. It binds the soul through action and its consequences. Being separative and compelling in quality, its fruit is gathered in pain. Tamas is of the nature of indifference or darkness. As the chapter states, it is the deluder of all creatures. It imprisoneth the ego in a body through heedless folly, sleep, and idleness. Ignorance, delusion, and folly exist where tamas prevails. Every human being is attached to physical existence through these qualities. It must not be supposed, however, that one of these qualities is present in one individual and absent in others, for all three qualities belong to nature and are participated in by every living being. The differences in human beings are found in the degrees of attraction which each one has for one or other of the qualities. As the chapter recites, when tamas and rajas are overcome, then sattva prevaileth. When sattva and tamas are hidden, then rajas prevaileth. When sattva and rajas diminish, then tamas is chiefly acting. Once the student understands the nature of these three qualities or attractions found in physical existence, he is prepared to examine his own disposition in regard to them. Has he clearness of perception? Is he of a quiet and peaceful nature? Is he attached to knowledge and that which is pleasant? If so, the quality of sattva is there to some degree, even if only for the time being. To the individual, sattva is that which seems good to him, even though his prevailing quality may be rajas or tamas. So the bee seeks and appreciates the sweetness in the flower, but is ignorant of the flower's nature or purpose. While every form in the three kingdoms of nature has its own peculiar quality, whether consciously or unconsciously expressed, yet the perceptions of these qualities depend upon the nature of the perceiver, his understanding and knowledge. Good and evil are relative. Nature may not be classified as part good and part bad. The goodness, the passion and desire, the ignorance, indifference and folly are in ourselves. The path to sattvic perception and perfection begins with a feeling of responsibility for thought, word and deed, and ends in unselfishness. The characteristics of rajas are love of gain, activity in action, meaning the holding of external action as the end in view, the initiating of works, restlessness and inordinate desire, producing thirst and propensity for possessions for any and every kind, loudness of speech, obtrusiveness in manner and action, and self-assertion in many ways. Tamas shows itself in indifference or darkness, as the chapter notes. Here it would seem that indifference and darkness are synonymous terms, for that which we call indifference arises from ignorance of the true nature of things, events and beings. It might be called the selfishness of ignorance. There are, of course, many degrees of tamas, as many, in fact, as there are minds, for tamas is indicated wherever there is ignorance, folly, idleness, and delusion in any degree. Thus one may express sattvic, rajasic, or sattvic tamasic qualities, rajasic tamasic, or rajasic sattvic, tamasic sattvic, or tamasic rajasic, in variable and varying degrees at different times, according as one is carried away by personal feeling. Even sattva may be of that kind which expresses a harmless selfishness, the love of knowledge, the goodness and pleasantness for one's own sake, or the doing of righteous acts for the reward which follows them. While these being a fair and pleasant existence, the result obtained from them are temporary and at the same time bind one to physical existence. The highest path, and that which leads to emancipation, is separation from the three qualities. Of course, there is in reality no separation possible in the ordinary sense of the word. Separation here means non-identification. It is ahankara, self-identifying attachment with the ever-changing forms, conditions and relations of physical existence that makes the real separation and binds men to rebirth in a world which they make one of infinitely more suffering than of joy. He, O son of Pandu, who doth not hate these qualities, illumination, action, and delusion, when they appear, nor longeth for them when they disappear, who, like one who is of no party, sitteth as one unconcerned about the three qualities and undisturbed by them, who, being persuaded that the three qualities exist, is not moved by them, who is of equal mind in pain and pleasure, with those who like or dislike, the same whether praised or blamed, equally minded in honor or disgrace, the same toward friendly or unfriendly side, engaging only in necessary actions, such an one hath surmounted these qualities.